There's so many different choices. I feel like they all can't be wrong.
They can't all be wrong. Why can't they all be wrong?
I think our choices now, we won't know if they'll affect us in like what happens after we die, or just death in general is very mysterious if you really think about it, because we really won't know until it happens.
Okay, so we won't know what happens to us when we die, or something like that,
Yeah,
or
something kind of like that. Yeah,
something kind of like that. So, like, if someone were to ask you, oh, by the way, what's your name? Sorry,
I'm Isaac.
Isaac. Sorry about that. I'm Nate.
Okay, hi, Nate.
So nice meeting you, Isaac.
Yep.
I usually do that first. I kind of got flustered for some reason. So Isaac, how do you spell that, Isaac?
ISAAC. A lot of crazy ways to spell it.
That's the one that's most common, I think. All right, so if somebody were to ask you, what do you think happens when you die? Or do you think something happens to you when you die? How would you answer that?
You just wouldn't know, you know? I feel like it's up for debate.
Okay.
Because I feel like everyone has a different perspective, or it could be everyone's own perspective is what happens.
Okay. That's an interesting one. We don't know what happens when we die. When you say that everyone's own perspective is what happens, what does that mean, you think?
So, like, everyone's own, like, religious beliefs. What they believe will do good in the afterlife is what they see.
Okay,
that makes any sense.
That's interesting. Is it okay if we explore that?
Sure.
Because that's something that I've actually maybe never heard before. And that's purely my own personal interest. Okay. Is that something?
Sure, yeah.
You'd like to explore a little bit? Okay, so what somebody believes about the afterlife will be what
will happen
to them? Okay, so like a person's belief.
It's getting windy.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there goes.
Oh, no, my sign. I forgot my tape today somehow. I don't know where I left it. It wasn't in my bag. I got here and I'm like, where's my tape? I usually tape these things down. A person's belief, and that's what'll happen. Okay. All right. So, thank you. I guess my first question for you then would be, how confident are you that this is true? Oh no, it is getting freezing. Thanks.
How confident do I am that I think it's true?
Yeah, and this could be, you could put it on a scale if you want to. It could be, you could put it like out of 100 or like on a...
I would put it on like a scale like 1 to 10. It would be like a 7.
A 7? 7 out of 10?
Yeah, I feel like there's so many different religious beliefs, different ways to view it, that maybe they're all right.
Okay.
In a way.
Interesting.
Maybe the way they portray it, if they do it right by their religion, they'll go to where they say they go. Maybe there isn't just one big one. Maybe it's all separate ones for every religion.
Okay, interesting.
That they see as their personal
afterlife. What do you think the main reason that you believe this is?
I think it is the aspect of there are so many different religions, so many different standpoints of different people that not only one, I don't think one could be right. I feel like multiple could be right. Or all, if not all.
If not all of them. So there are a lot of different viewpoints on this topic. And people believe a lot of different things about it. And so that's the main reason you're saying that maybe all of them could be true. Can you think of anything else where this would be the case? Where if a lot of different people have different opinions about something, they're all right?
Maybe in like language.
In language? What do you mean?
Like everyone speaks a different language, but majority of the words mean the same things. Okay,
so like kind of like they're different ways of talking about the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So is that really like the same thing though? Like when we use different words in different languages to mean the same thing, like if I'm going to talk about this water bottle, right? And I could use water bottle. I could talk about it in English, or I could use a different language. And, there's a different language for bottle, and botella, is that bottle in Spanish? I don't even remember. I know some Spanish, but not that much. But is the bottle any different, though? Or is it still the same bottle? If I call it a bottle, or if I call it a botella, or something else?
I guess it would be the same, yeah.
Okay. So would the afterlife, as you're thinking of it, be more like the bottle, or would it be like a totally different thing?
I'm not sure.
If we're always like using a different religious belief to get there.
I'm honestly not sure. I think you got me there.
Okay. I'm not trying to get you. This isn't
No,
I
understand that. I understand
that. But that saying you don't know is fine. Like that's okay. Because I'm just trying to make sure I fully understand how you're thinking about this. Because like, do different religions make different claims about the afterlife? Like, is the Christian afterlife different than the Buddhist afterlife, different than the Hindu afterlife, etc.? Or
I believe it's different. Like, some people believe in, like, there is like a heaven, there's a hell, but then some people believe that reincarnation is a thing, and like what actions they do, say like eating meat, stuff like that, would affect it. So maybe it's like stuff like that.
All right. So, do those beliefs ever conflict with each other? Like, if you asked a Christian, what's going to happen to my Buddhist friend when he dies if he doesn't believe what I believe, would he say something different than what the Buddhist would say, you think?
I'm not sure.
Not sure? Okay. I'm just curious if they can actually all be right. I have another thought experiment about that we could do. Is that okay?
Sure.
To kind of explore this idea of
Completely fine.
different people being kind of right about the same thing. And you let me know if this doesn't make sense with what we're talking about, okay? So we got a box of Tic Tacs here, okay? Do you know how many are here?
Not off the top of my head.
No, I don't either, right? Similarly, I'm not really sure what happens when we die, okay? But could we agree that if we were to count these Tic Tacs, we could figure out if there is an even number or an odd number of Tic Tacs in here?
Yeah.
Okay. And does it matter what we believe about it? Like, if I believe that it's an odd number, and you believe that it's an even number, if we counted them, could we come to the same conclusion?
No, we couldn't.
We couldn't? Why not?
Because they would have to be one of them.
Yeah, but if we actually took the time
and counted them out and found out,
and we found out there were, like, let's say we both counted and there were 32 Tic Tacs in here, and then maybe just to double check, we double check, we count again, and then maybe we even called in your friend who was here earlier and say, hey, could you count these for us? We just want to make sure that we're getting the number right. And he also counted there were 32. Could we say that there's an even number of Tic Tacs in the box?
Yeah.
Okay. What if somebody came up and said, I don't know how many Tic Tacs are in there, but I believe strongly that there's an odd number of Tic Tacs in there.
They could believe that because they haven't found out.
They haven't found out yet,
They haven't
right?
found out.
Okay. And similarly, we haven't found out what happens when we die yet, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. But could we say maybe that there's a truth about what happens to people after they die? Like with the Tic Tacs?
Oh, like a factual.
Yeah. Is there like a factual, like, objective truth about what happens to people when they die?
Well, your body decomposes in the ground, so.
Well, I think we're pretty sure about that one. I guess, is there more than that is true? That you think was true? No? Okay. Because obviously different religions have different beliefs that there's more that happens after you die, right? Do you think that those beliefs, the things they believe actually happen?
Well, if they believe it, then it would happen. But it's all like based on personal. So like, what do those religions believe?
Yeah, well, yeah, different religions believe lots of different things, right? So some believe in like there's like a good afterlife and a bad afterlife, right? A heaven and a hell. Mm. Some believe in like reincarnation. Some religious beliefs they don't believe there's life after death, right? Can all of those things be true at the same time?
Why couldn't they?
Well, can there be both an even and odd number of Tic Tacs in here?
No.
Okay, so how? I guess I'm not. This is probably my fault. I'm probably not understanding properly. I'm wondering, like, is there something about this belief that makes it different than the Tic Tac somehow?
Well, I feel like the Tic Tacs are like a physical.
Okay.
And then this is like more of a spiritual.
Okay.
So maybe it's all just based upon that, and it's because that's a physical thing, you know.
Right.
That's such a Tic Tac. You can pick it up, you can touch it.
Right.
But this is like you can't pick it up, you can't touch it.
Yeah. That makes sense. So, like, spiritual things we can't, like, directly interact with them so much. So that certainly makes it harder to know what's true.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? But does that change this idea of whether there is a truth there? Like, when we die, do you think we'll discover that there is a truth or not?
Well, we'll figure it out once we're there, though.
Okay. What if, what about somebody who doesn't believe that there's like an afterlife, that their consciousness doesn't continue on after they die? What do you think will happen to them? It'll just be over for them?
Maybe. If that's what they believed, I would suppose so.
Okay. Does that directly conflict with what some religious beliefs, what certain religions have to say about the afterlife, though?
I would suppose so. It would, but
because like, have you ever seen like, I don't know, if there's preachers and they're like fire and brimstone, and you're gonna burn in hell if you don't believe certain things, right? Are they wrong?
I feel like they would be. Yeah, I feel like they're preaching for the wrong reason.
Okay. I
feel like it's your you're right to like believe what you want to believe and stuff like that.
Yeah, totally agree. People, I strongly believe that people have the right to believe whatever it is they believe, and we shouldn't be trying to force people to believe what we think is right? But me personally, I just want to believe in what is true.
So what do you think is true?
Well, I tell you what, ask me again in a little bit, and I'll answer any questions you have, but I don't want to color your perceptions based on my answers. Does that make sense?
I understand.
So we'll wrap up this conversation, and then I'll answer any questions that you have for me.
Okay.
Is that fine?
Yeah, perfect.
All right. I'm not trying to dodge you. I just, I don't want to influence you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, completely understand that.
Okay. Shoot, where was I? So, I want to believe what is true. Mm. And I don't want to believe things if they're not true.
Yeah.
Do you feel similarly, or do you feel slightly different about that? Like, how important is it for you to believe in true things?
Truth in the matter of fact? Or what do you mean the truth?
Yeah, things that are true and real, like things that aren't false. Does that? I don't know if that helps or not. What do you mean when you think of the word true and truth?
Okay, no, hold on. I see what you're saying now. Yeah, okay, that's my bad.
No, I'm not. I really want to know. Like, I tried to give...
Like, someone telling me the truth, like, knowing what's factually correct.
Yeah, what's factually correct. Yes, like, that's what I mean by truth. So when I say I want to believe true things, I want to believe in things that are factually correct. And I don't want to believe in things that aren't true. And so that's a lot about what this whole process is about, is trying to figure out, what is true and how can we know what's true.
Not sure. I'm actually not sure.
I'm not 100% sure either. But I feel like there are certain ways maybe that we can come to truth more reliably than other ways. And so what I'm looking for is I'm looking for reliable ways to come to believe things that I can be pretty confident are true. Do you feel like this reason that, well, there are a lot of opinions about this, and so because there are so many opinions about it, maybe they're all true? Does that seem like a good reason to be at 7 out of 10 confidence, you think?
Yeah.
Think that's sufficient for that?
There's so many different choices. I feel like they all can't be wrong.
They can't all be wrong. Why can't they all be wrong?
I think it's all based on what you think, though. I feel like that's the only way to wrap this up. Honestly,
Could some of them be wrong?
I guess that depends on what everyone thinks. What's wrong?
Does the truth depend on what everyone thinks?
I feel like in a religious aspect, yes.
But not with the Tic Tacs?
Not with the Tic Tacs. No, we're sitting here. This is really happening.
Okay, so like, if everybody, or maybe like most people, if like 90% of people said, there's an odd number of Tic Tacs in here, that wouldn't necessarily make it an odd number, right? If we counted them and there were 32, but 95% of people said, no, I strongly believe there's an odd number in here. It doesn't work like that, Tic Tacs, right? But it does work for religion. Why?
I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. Do you still think you're at 7 out of 10 on this claim?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Where do you think you might be now?
A little bit lower, honestly.
Okay.
Changing my mind a little bit.
That's all right. That's I think it's really important to be willing to change your mind when you think it's appropriate, but also not to change your mind just because somebody's asking you to either. All right, interesting. Okay, how'd you think that conversation went?
I don't think it was terrible.
No, not terrible.
Interesting. It was interesting.
It was interesting. Good. I'm glad you found it interesting. Any questions you have for me, I'd be happy to answer now, I suppose.
Back to, what do you think is true?
About this claim in particular?
Yeah.
I'm at a position in my life where I don't have a high degree of confidence in these sorts of beliefs. It's not that I think that they're necessarily mistaken or wrong. Now, some religious beliefs I'm pretty confident that they're incorrect. They're not true. They're not factual. But for me, mostly, I don't find that the ways, like the methods that people use to arrive at these conclusions, I generally haven't found them to be very reliable. And so I don't think that they warrant like a high degree of confidence. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I'm pretty agnostic about the question in general. And so I generally don't affirm any particular stance on around these questions.
Okay.
Cool. Right. Any other questions you have for me?
No, that's it.
About that or anything like that? All right. Awesome. Well, Isaac, nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
I hope you enjoyed the conversation.
Yep, I did.
Cool. Are you interested in a conversation now?
Good.
You're all good?
Yep.
All right. Thanks. See you guys.
And then I'll watch that video later.
All right. Cool. That's kind of a tricky one. Unless my signs are blowing away. I forgot my tape. Don't know where I went.